a random triangle suddenly appeared. This one's a little bit difficult because in addition to having the known quantities, it's got this unknown quantity here of x plus 3 meters. Now usually when we have it like this form, the unknown is just by itself, but this one's got a number with it. So this is going to add complexity to the equation that we build. Now looking at this, before we can solve any triangle here, what we need to do is we need to label it. I first start off by identifying that it indeed is a right-angled triangle. I do this by finding the right angle. Next, I draw an arrow pointing out, and this points to the side called the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the longest side in my triangle here. Next, I identify the angle of interest, and I call it theta. Opposite theta is the opposite side, and the final side left over is called the adjacent side. Now, because the opposite side has no markings on it, I'm under no obligation to put the markings there either. Next step, I state what I have. In this case, I have an angle of theta of 32 degrees. I have an opposite side. No, I don't. So I leave it out. But I do have an adjacent side of 5 meters. And finally, my hypotenuse is x plus 3 meters. So these are all my values here. Now because I've got these values, I've got an A and an H for my side lengths. What letter would go in front of A and H? Any ideas, guys?
O. T. O.
So, ka, toa. C. Ka. So this is going to be a cosine ratio. Because I know this is a cosine ratio, what I'm going to do is I'm going to state cos of theta is equal to the the adjacent over the hypotenuse. My next line of mathematics is going to include all of the variables that we know. We know that theta is equal to 32 degrees. We know that the adjacent is 5 meters. And we know that the hypotenuse is x plus 3. So here's our math statement. Next thing we want to do is we want to solve for the unknown, which is x. Now this one's a little bit difficult. 1, the unknown's in the denominator. 2, the denominator is a multi-term expression. That means it's not just the unknown, it's got other stuff in there as well. Now does anyone remember, what do we do when we have an unknown in our denominator? Anyone remember? Zoe?
Same thing, we just times everything by it.
Yeah, we just times everything by it. The rule with fractions, guys, especially when you get to next year, whenever you see an unknown in the denominator, you just multiply everything by it. So I'm going to multiply everything by x plus 3. Notice I put these green brackets around it. Green brackets mean that they're there, but you don't have to show them. But when you multiply, you must. So you don't need to show this, but you do need to show it here. This is going to have the benefit of, and I'm going to write this out the long way, x plus 3. And then up here it's going to be 5x plus 3. This is times, these are brackets. Over on the right, we're going to have x plus 3, brackets are necessary, cos 32 degrees. And of course there's a times there as well. Now because you've got an x plus 3 upstairs and a factor of x plus 3 downstairs, they cancel. We've been doing this all along, even when it's a single variable. Boys, you need to put your eyes on the board, because I've never met someone who learned Pythagoras, or sorry, not Pythagoras's trigonometry by listening.
Okay.
They learned it by watching and listening. So we just have 5 on the right, and then we have x plus 3 cos 32 degrees on the left. Now, we want to get access to the x plus 3. We can't get into these brackets yet until we get rid of the cos 32. So what we do is we divide by the cos 32. This leaves us with x plus 3 in brackets on the left, but we don't need the brackets anymore because they hold no value. And then finally, we just want x on the left. It's got a constant of 3 hanging with it, so we take 3 from both sides. This is going to look like five upstairs, cos 32 degrees downstairs, and then there's a take 3 all the way on the right. It's at this point where we get up to here where we say, let's go for our calculators, guys. So, we pull up our calculators. I'm going to rewrite this line over here, just so it's clearer. Oops. And this line, which is the same as that line, is equivalent to typing into your calculator 5 divided by cos 32 degrees in brackets, take 3 at the end. So you put it in your calculator like that. Now before we hit the equals button, I should have said this earlier, before we do our first calculation of the day, what button do we always hit first, Toby? Reset. The first time you do a calculation in trigonometry on your calculator, you press the reset button because you don't know what mode it's been in. Going for an answer. What did you get, Conrad? 2.9, Izzy? 2.8, Nathaniel? 2.8. 3 decimal places, please, Juju. Abby?
2.895.
2.895. Okay. If we go to 1 decimal place, guys, if you look at the 9 over here, it's above 4. So we're going to round that guy up. So it's 2.9 meters. Remember, that doesn't mean that this length here to here is 2.9. It means that this is 2.9 plus 3, so it would be 5.9 meters, the actual length. That question is a showcase of labeling a triangle, picking the ratio, building a trig equation, and then after you've got the equation out, so when you're at this line, building down, this is just algebra. This is just you improving your algebra to a standard where there is nothing that could stump you at a year 9/year 10 level in algebra as well. Are there any questions, guys? There's only one example today. Harry?